Okay, so everyone wants to crack the code right. To wealth building, I mean.
Yeah.
Like not the get-rich-quick stuff. No, the real deal.
Right.
And today, we're diving deep into an interview with Cody Sanchez.
Right.
This woman built a $70 million holding company from nothing.
Wow.
And get this, all while she was juggling this crazy demanding finance job. So no trust funds, no lucky breaks. This is a system you can actually use.
It is fascinating, because Cody starts with this really simple question. Basically, she's like, if Wall Street hotshots can use these strategies for these massive deals, why not apply it to smaller businesses?
Right.
And spoiler, it totally works.
Yeah, she went from employee to owner, and that's like a fundamental mindset shift that I think we can all learn from. Instead of just trading time for money, she focused on acquiring assets, things that generate income, even when you're not clocking in.
Yeah.
Like, think of it this way. Are you renting your financial life or do you own it?
That is such a powerful way to put it because most people are stuck in that rental mindset.
Yeah.
And Cody just found a way out. Now, her first acquisition, not what you would expect, from someone building a multi-million-dollar empire, she bought a laundromat.
A laundromat.
Yeah.
Okay, that does not scream like glamorous entrepreneur.
Right.
But this is where it gets interesting. She bought it for $100,000. It was already making a $67,000 profit. Why would anyone sell a business that profitable?
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what they're missing.
Yeah, and that's the first myth.
Right.
That nobody sells a good business.
Right.
The reality is there are so many business owners, and they're older,
Okay.
and they struggle, like what's next? They're ready to retire, but they don't have somebody lined up to take over this thing that they've built.
Oh, interesting.
And that's a huge pain point for them.
Right.
And so that's the opportunity.
So their problem becomes your opportunity.
Exactly. And they're not looking for the highest bidder necessarily.
Right.
They're looking for somebody who will care for what they've built.
Right.
And that's where Cody's Good Shepherd approach is so powerful. She understands that these are not just transactions.
Yes,
these are legacies.
I see. Okay. So I'm sure I'm thinking someone listening might be like laundromat, like low profit margins, not worth my time.
And that's the second myth.
Okay.
Especially with your first acquisition, you're not looking to hit a home run right away.
Oh, interesting.
Think of it like buying a house, your first house. It's not about, the mansion with the swimming pool. It's about getting on the property ladder,
Right.
learning how it works.
Right.
And then maybe later you trade up.
Okay. So even with a business that feels, I don't know, maybe a little bit unglamorous at first, like a laundromat,
Yeah.
you're gaining experience that's valuable for future deals down the line.
Yeah.
You're learning how to analyze a business, negotiate, manage cash flow, all these skills
Absolutely.
that can translate across industries.
And this is where understanding deal structures is so key. So Cody used something called seller financing,
Okay.
which means she paid for the laundromat over time using the profits from the laundromat, which is huge because it lowers the barrier to entry.
Right.
You don't need $1 million sitting in a bank to get started.
That's a game changer for so many aspiring entrepreneurs that think oh, I need this, this fortune just to get my foot in the door.
Exactly. And notice how Cody leverages expertise, right?
Right.
She knows how to structure the deals, but she partners with someone who knows laundromats.
Right.
Inside and out. So you're not good at everything.
Yeah.
But if you can find a team that complements
Right.
your skill set,
Right.
that's invaluable.
Okay. So let's say you found a business you're interested in. You've got, a handle on the financials. You figured out a possible financing strategy. Now, the big question is, how do you convince the owner to sell to you?
Oh, this is where Cody flips the script. So she believes true persuasion isn't about being pushy or using these high-pressure sales tactics, right? It's about understanding their needs and positioning yourself as the solution.
So less always be closing and more always be helping.
Exactly. It's about demonstrating you understand the value of what they built.
Yeah.
And that you're the right person to take it to the next level.
Right. And she talks about asking questions, really listening to uncover their motivations, and then showing them how selling to her benefits them.
Right.
It's about building trust, showing them that their business, their baby is in good hands.
Imagine you've poured your heart and soul into something for years. Wouldn't you rather sell to somebody who gets it?
Totally.
Who sees the potential, rather than just somebody who's flashing a bunch of cash?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's about connecting on a human level.
Yes.
Understanding their why. and becoming the answer to their needs, their unspoken needs.
Fully.
So it's less about convincing and more about aligning, it sounds like.
Exactly. And that's how she was able to acquire a profitable business like this laundromat. But let's imagine you're 25 years old, you're listening to this, you're like, yes, let's go. But you have $7,000 saved up, not $100,000.
Right. Not everyone has like a spare laundromat lying around.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And this is where Cody's advice is pure gold. She's like, leverage what you already have.
Okay.
Instead of chasing random business ideas.
Right.
Look at your own expenses.
Okay.
What are you spending money on right now that you could turn into an income stream?
Oh, interesting.
She calls it like a personal P&L review.
Okay.
Treat your personal finances like a business.
So it's like saying, hey, I'm already spending money on X.
Right.
What if I found a way to make money from X instead?
That's it.
Oh.
Exactly. So Cody actually bought a podcast production company this way.
Oh, wow. How did she do that?
She was networking with people who needed that service. She connected the dots, turned her network into an asset.
That's brilliant. And it shows that, like, the opportunities are often right under our noses.
Yes.
We just need to learn how to spot them.
Yeah.
But even with a great idea and the drive to make it happen, there's still a learning curve.
Oh, sure. So how did Cody suggest sort of navigating that?
So Cody's a huge advocate for finding mentors.
Okay.
And not just like, the celebrity CEOs. Everyone's like, how do I get a coffee chat with so-and-so?
Right. She's talking about target successful, maybe less visible figures
Okay.
in industries that really speak to you.
So instead of trying to get on, Elon Musk's calendar, I'm finding like, I don't know, the Elon Musk of like sustainable laundromats.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because those are the people with the practical, in the trenches wisdom.
Right.
They've navigated the exact challenges you're facing.
Right.
Probably made a ton of mistakes along the way, come out the other side. Valuable lessons.
Right. And they're probably, those lessons are probably more relatable than like whatever's in a business school textbook.
Totally.
But how do you actually get on these mentors' radar? Like, these people are probably busy, running their empires.
Yeah, they are. So Cody's like, forget the generic DMs. Forget the, hey, can I pick your brain?
Right.
Go in with value first.
Okay.
Do your research. Research their work, identify a specific challenge they're facing, and offer a solution.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe it's connecting them with someone in your network.
Okay.
Maybe it's like, creating a piece of content that highlights their expertise.
I see.
It's about showing them you're serious.
Right.
Not just like, hey, give me.
Right. It's like that saying, your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
But you're actually, contributing to that network.
Exactly.
Instead of just trying to kind of extract from it.
100%.
Yeah.
And, speaking of challenges, Cody shared this incredible story about climbing Mount Baker.
Okay, so we're going from, like, laundromats to mountain climbing. I'm intrigued.
Right, so picture this. You're exhausted, freezing, every muscle is screaming at you to turn back. Cody hits that point on this mountain and realizes this really powerful thing. Sometimes the bravest choice isn't pushing for the summit just because it's there.
Oh, wow.
It's about knowing when to reassess, when to prioritize your well-being, and stay true to your own path.
It's like we get so caught up in this, like, hustle harder, climb any mountain mentality.
Yes.
We forget to ask, like, wait, why am I even climbing this mountain in the first place?
Right.
Like, is this for me? Or am I trying to prove something to someone else?
And that applies to our financial lives, too.
Totally. Yeah.
We're chasing someone else's definition of success, the fancy cars, the huge houses, without even questioning if it aligns with what actually matters to us.
It's about defining success on our own terms.
Exactly.
Not just like following blindly,
Exactly. And this ties into Cody's idea of like seeing behind the curtain. So having worked in high finance, she's like, there's this hidden game that's being played with money.
Okay.
It's not just about, work hard, save diligently, you'll be fine.
It'll work out. Right.
It's about understanding the rules of the game.
Okay.
The levers, the strategies that can create real wealth.
So it's not about insider trading or anything like that. It's just like understanding how the system works on a deeper level.
Think of it like this. If you're playing a board game.
Okay.
And everyone else knows the rules.
Right.
But you don't.
You're going to lose.
Are you going to win?
Probably not.
Probably not. Cody's argument is that knowledge, that ability to see behind the curtain, that's what separates those who achieve lasting wealth from those who, are kind of always struggling.
Interesting. Okay. So how do we start to peek behind that curtain a little bit?
Well, she stresses the importance of understanding deal structures.
Okay.
It's not just about, buying a business outright.
Right.
It's knowing about things like seller financing, which we talked about,
Right.
or earnouts, where part of the purchase price is tied to the business's future performance.
Okay.
These are tools that, wealthy people use
Right.
to minimize their risk and maximize their returns.
So it's like having, I don't know, a whole toolbox
Yes.
of options, not just,
Exactly.
a hammer
Just a hammer.
when you're trying to, build something.
Precisely. And where do we learn about those tools?
Yeah, where do you learn?
Mentors.
Okay.
But not just any mentors.
Right.
Seek out the ones who have mastered this art,
Okay.
who understand the intricacies of finance,
Okay.
and can guide you toward smart financial decisions.
So it's like finding those hidden masters.
Yes.
The ones who have the treasure trove, but they're not like advertising it on a billboard.
Exactly.
Right.
And approach them with humility, a genuine interest in their journey. Offer value up front.
Right.
Don't just be like, help me, help me, help
Don't say
me.
you.
Show them you're serious.
Right. I'm willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, exactly. So we've got the strategies. We're learning the rules of the game. What about the mental game?
Right.
Because I imagine that plays a huge role in all of this. Cody dives deep on this, explaining why so many people struggle financially, even when they have the knowledge and the opportunities.
Right.
And she argues it often comes down to deeply ingrained beliefs, stories we tell ourselves about money.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so our own internal dialogue could be holding us back.
Totally.
Wow.
Think of it like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Okay.
If you believe you'll never be wealthy, if you subconsciously associate money with stress or guilt, those beliefs will sabotage your efforts.
Like a self-sabotage
They do.
without even realizing it.
Without even realizing it.
Wow. That's kind of a scary thought, right? That our own minds could be working against us.
It can be. But the good news is we have the power to change those beliefs.
Okay.
So Cody talks about this exercise she did with this group of really successful women.
Right.
And she asked them to close their eyes and physically take on the shape of their relationship with money.
Okay, this is interesting. What happened?
Most of these women, outwardly successful, they ended up in these positions of fear, shame, protection, crouched down, arms crossed, shielding themselves.
Wow.
And it was this powerful visualization of how these deep-seated beliefs, often formed in childhood
Right.
or through societal conditioning, can unconsciously shape our behavior.
It's like we're carrying around all this invisible baggage.
Yes.
That's weighing us down, but we don't even realize it.
100%.
So how do we unpack that baggage? How do we even start to kind of rewrite those stories?
Yeah.
It's like we need to rewire our internal operating system when it comes to money.
Yeah.
But how do we even begin to do that?
Cody talks about the importance of awareness, first and foremost. Okay.
We need to actually shine a light on those limiting beliefs,
Right.
those old tapes that are playing in our heads,
Okay.
and start to question them.
Right.
Where did those beliefs come from?
Yeah.
Are they even true?
Right. Yeah.
And oftentimes they're rooted in things we were told as children,
Yeah, totally.
or just messages we've internalized from society.
Right. Money doesn't grow on trees, all that.
Exactly.
Right.
Without even realizing it. It's like we're running on outdated software
Yes.
that's no longer serving us. So once we start to become aware of these beliefs, what's next?
So that's where things get really interesting. Cody emphasizes the power of reframing those beliefs.
Okay.
It's about consciously choosing to adopt a more empowering perspective. So for example, if you find yourself thinking, ugh, I'll never be able to afford that.
Right. I could never do that. Yeah.
Challenge that thought.
Okay.
What if you ask yourself instead, what would it take for me to achieve that?
What would it actually take? Well, that's interesting.
It's a subtle shift, but it opens up a world of possibilities.
Instead of shutting it down immediately.
Exactly.
You're okay, maybe there's a way.
It's like switching from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
Okay.
So instead of focusing on what you lack, you're like, what can I create?
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
So it's instead of focusing on the lack, you're focusing on the potential, the possibility.
Exactly. And that shift in perspective can be a game changer when it comes to your financial life because it allows you to see opportunities
Right.
where you once saw obstacles.
Right. Right.
And to take risks that you might have otherwise avoided.
Totally. It's about stepping outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Believing in your own potential. Now, Cody also talks about content creation
Yes.
as a wealth-building strategy.
Yes.
Which, on the surface, you're like, wait, what?
Right, because
Yeah.
we think like, oh, I need to make money, so I need to go start this laundromat or whatever.
Right, I need to go find a business to buy.
Right.
Right.
But it's actually a really brilliant strategy
Right.
because content creation, whether it's writing, podcasting, video, it's such a powerful way to build your network,
Right.
to establish yourself as an expert,
Right.
and to attract opportunities that you might not have otherwise encountered.
So it's like you're creating your own platform, your own stage to share your knowledge and connect with people.
And in today's world, that visibility is so invaluable.
Right.
And it's not about becoming an influencer. It's not about chasing followers. It's about adding value,
Right.
sharing your insights, connecting with like-minded people.
So it's less about self-promotion and more about providing value,
Yes.
building relationships.
Yes.
And, maybe becoming like a thought leader
Totally.
in your space.
Yeah.
And then who knows,
And you never know where those connections will lead.
Exactly, yeah.
It could be a business partnership.
Right.
It could be a mentorship opportunity.
Totally.
Or just honestly, even the inspiration to take your own ideas to the next level.
It's like you're planting seeds
Yeah.
and creating a ripple effect that kind of extends, beyond just you.
Yes.
Now, Cody also stresses the importance of surrounding yourself with, she calls them A players.
Yeah.
Or A players.
So she's talking about the people you choose to spend your time with,
Right.
both personally and professionally.
Okay.
And she's a firm believer that you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Oh, interesting.
So if you're surrounded by negative, unambitious people, it's going to be that much harder.
Right. It's like you're constantly being pulled down
Yes.
by their energy, by their,
their beliefs.
beliefs. Yeah. So how do we break free from that?
Yeah.
And create a more, supportive and empowering circle?
So it starts with being more intentional
Okay.
about the relationships we cultivate. Cody encourages us to seek out people who inspire us, who are already achieving the things that we want to achieve.
Okay. So it's like surrounding yourself with possibility models.
Yes.
Yeah.
And allowing their energy, their ambition to kind of rub off on us.
I like that. And just as important as it is to invite those positive influences in, it's equally important, I imagine, to recognize when relationships are no longer serving us.
100%.
And that can be a tough one.
It can be.
Letting go of relationships.
Yeah.
Even when, deep down, we know it's not healthy.
But Cody emphasizes it's a necessary part of growth. As we evolve, our relationships need to evolve too.
Right.
And sometimes that means creating space
Yeah.
for new connections that are more aligned with who we are becoming.
It's like you're constantly, leveling up in a way.
Yeah.
And so your relationships, they should reflect that. Now, I think throughout this whole conversation, one theme that's really stood out to me is this idea of taking ownership.
Yes.
Ownership of your finances.
Of your beliefs, of your relationships.
Our lives. Yes,
That's
exactly.
your life.
So that shifting from this passive role
Yeah.
to an active role,
Yeah.
recognizing that we actually have the power
Yes.
to create the life we want financially,
Yeah.
personally.
And that's such an empowering message.
Totally, yeah.
It's a reminder that we're not victims of circumstance.
Right.
We're not powerless bystanders.
We have a choice.
We have choices. We have
Yeah.
agency. We can create a life that we want that aligns with our values.
Love that. I love that. So I guess as we wrap up this deep dive into Cody's insights, I'm curious, for you, what's one key takeaway? What's something you're going to apply to your own life?
I think for me, it's the power of reframing.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in negative thought patterns, but Cody's approach reminds us we actually have a choice. We can choose to focus on possibilities instead of limitations.
Totally. It's about recognizing our thoughts aren't facts.
Yes.
We can choose more empowering ones.
Exactly. And when we do that, we open ourselves up to a whole new realm of possibility.
I love that. And on that note, I guess we'll leave you with this final thought. Cody talked about the power of mentors. But what if the most impactful guidance comes from someone just a few steps ahead of you on the path? Someone who remembers those specific challenges, those hurdles that you're facing right now, and can offer that practical advice, that relatable advice. Take a moment to think, who could that person be in your life?
It might be someone you already know. It might be someone you've been wanting to connect with.
Right.
Reach out, offer value, start building that relationship. You never know where it might lead.
It's about recognizing we're all in this journey together. And sometimes the most valuable insights come from those we're just a little further down the path.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. And remember, the journey to, wealth building, it starts with a single step, and it's a journey worth taking.